Welcome, college basketball fans, to the Full Court Press Podcast with LT and Sammy D. This is the podcast that brings you legendary stories from college basketball's golden era and dives in deep with a current analysis of today's game. Get ready for the most energetic and entertaining college basketball podcast around. Let's get it.
Hello and welcome to another Full Court Press, a college basketball coaches show. Luke Taylor back in the saddle. As you can see, as Sam is no longer with us, at least on this episode. He'll be coming back. He always comes back. I love the guy. But don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review wherever you listen to the Full Court Press or the Full Court Network, actually powered by the Full Court Network. Hit the subscribe button. If you listen on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, don't forget to subscribe and give us a 5-star review. Only 5-star reviews. I have no problem showing up to your house and taking my dogs with me. So anyway, that's not a threat, but I'm really excited about this guest. So last week we were in Tennessee. We're at probably the best dressed, at least for one game, Mr. GQ Jeremy Schulman from the Tennessee Martin. Yeah, you see, you're nodding your head. Those shoes didn't really go with the suit, did it?
Hey, it's when you're winning games like he is right now, you could probably go out there in your pajamas. They've had a couple really nice wins. He's got a good group with him. I've known Jeremy for a long time, recruited off of his AAU team 15, 20 years ago, the Mid-State Ballers out of Tennessee here. So known Jeremy and John Schulman for a long time, and he's got his group going early in the season here.
Yeah, so we've got joining us Middle Tennessee State head coach Nick McDevitt. Welcome to the Full Court Press, Coach.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
So the only question I got for you, this could be kind of the quickest or longest interview. What the hell is a Blue Raider?
Hey, come on now.
Listen, I went to St. Thomas Aquinas High School in Oakville, Ontario. We were the Raiders, just the Raiders. You got the Red Raiders in Texas Tech and Lubbock. Yep. You got the Blue Raiders in Tennessee. Like, why Blue Raiders?
Hey, we got the Pegasus, the horse, the wing horse, got the lightning bolt coming out of the mouth. So, yeah, man, Blue Raiders. It's a unique mascot for sure, and one that you'll see a lot around town when you're here in Murfreesboro. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah. So off to a 3-0 start. Got a big game. This will be airing Wednesday. So tonight, I guess, so you're playing Michigan, the Wolverines, obviously heading there up to Ann Arbor. Really good program. Then you go to the Cayman Islands, which not a bad thing. Murray State, George Washington, and McNeese, 3 very good programs. Come home against UAB, which Andy Kennedy is no slouch. You play Belmont at home, another game, and then you go to Houston. Yeah, and you open the conference for a game in December. What the hell are you doing, Coach?
Man, it's a bear of a schedule for sure. I've talked to a couple guys over the summer, a couple of Power 4 coaches. Like, you're sharing stories about, your group, and you're halfway through the summer with your workouts. By the time you get to July, and you're done scheduling, do you like your group? And with a couple of coaches talking about scheduling, get about halfway through who we've got on our schedule. I got a couple looks like, what the heck are you guys doing? And it's kind of the life that you live now. Really being in a mid-major league and a team that's been pretty good in a mid-major league. Like last year, Conference USA in the net was the 8th best league in the country. Well, if you're another team and you're playing teams out of a league that's that good, you're wanting money. You're going to have to pay me to play you. I'm not interested in a home and home, says most of the teams that you ask about scheduling. So what you end up doing is you're playing the best teams from other mid-major leagues, or you're getting bought. And now in that age of rev share, getting bought helps us with our NIL dollars. And so playing Michigan and playing Houston are paydays for us. And then the other games we end up playing really the other really good mid-major teams. And you mentioned a bunch of them right there: UAB and Belmont, Murray State, George Washington, McNeese. It's a tough schedule, no doubt.
Yeah. Do you even have a scheduling philosophy anymore with the current college landscape?
Well, that's interesting you asked that. We do. It's just hard to follow the strategy or philosophy that you think is best, particularly if you don't have a big buy budget. Your buys, your money allows you to really kind of align your schedule with your roster.
Mm-hmm.
You can go get the games that fit. If you think you're going to have a chance to be really good, your money allows you to go get games that are going to challenge your team. If all of a sudden you think like, it might be a while before we work ourselves into being good by January, then you can take that money and buy some lesser opponents. When you're in a situation like us where you don't have unlimited funds, and you're trying to put
Not
more
yet.
towards
Not yet. Not this
yeah,
week.
not
Maybe
yet.
next week.
That's right. Until we have that, you're trying to
Yeah.
do as best you can to have money for your NIL, and
Yeah.
so it doesn't allow you to go buy a bunch of games. And
Yeah.
so our home and homes are against really good teams, and our buys we're not going to get kind of the bottom, so to say, P4 teams, or the P4 teams that might not think they're going to have a year where they're going to finish in the upper half of the SEC or the ACC or the Big 12. So you end up getting bought. Like last year, we get bought by Tennessee. Well, they're the number one team in the country when we play them. We're not getting bought by the bottom end of the SEC.
Yeah.
Same thing happened this year.
Yeah.
Is we're getting bought by Michigan and Houston. We're not getting bought by average teams.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's tough, right? Because you remember those matchups. I mean, I remember when I was in college, I was at UIC, University of Illinois, Chicago. And, we had a really good program for years. And we played Illinois at home. We played Michigan State at home. You play those days of any of those schools coming anywhere near UIC. Now, they might come to like Little Italy or Greektown for food, and that might be the closest we get to them. But they're driving right past the pavilion. Let's be honest. I mean,
That's correct. You're not getting those teams at home anymore, even if they wanted to. You could have a great relationship. Like Coach Barnes and I are good friends. He's been a great mentor for me for a long time. My
he ain't
college
gonna
coach,
play
my
you.
former boss,
Yeah.
gave him his first job in the '70s at Davidson. So I've known Rick for a long time. He's not coming to Murfreesboro, and he would tell you that. Like I can't. Even the league office isn't going to let me play a game like that. There's just too much at stake financially now with how many teams in your league are getting to the tournament, the seeding that your teams are getting out of your league. What seed line are they on? So it gives them a better chance to advance in
Yeah.
the NCAA tournament. There's too many dollars at stake for league offices at that level to allow their teams just to schedule like they want. And that's the reason they've got scheduling parameters in. And generally, they're telling their teams play quad 1 and quad 4
Yep.
opponents. And we're
Well,
not in either one of those areas, so it makes scheduling very hard.
Coach, the holidays is coming up. I think you need to reevaluate some of your friendships.
Hey, there anybody right now that is will buy us, and if we can find some other teams to agree to some home and homes, it could lengthen my Christmas card list.
Yeah, yeah. It goes from here to like that. No, I get it.
Yeah,
I get it.
maybe.
I get it. I get it. So starting off pretty good. You got some really good basketball players. I mean, Lands. I remember Lands at Arizona State and even Louisville. I mean, he's your leading scorer, doing really well. Kid from Penn State came in. You got some returning players. That's what I kind of like about your program. You brought back more than one or two players, which is huge in this day and era. I don't know what
I
you
actually did
but
an interview earlier this morning and said the exact same thing. I said it feels kind of funny feeling fortunate about having 6 players return, but that's the case in modern, college basketball. Is with the turnover rate you have in your program, with the portal, as well as kind of the NIL era that we're in now as well. Being able to retain that many players, and also guys that have logged significant minutes for us.
Yeah.
But you're right. The having Kamari back, the addition of Javin Carter, young man that we recruited hard out of high school. He's from here in Tennessee. Won a couple state championships at Alcoa High School. Went to Penn State, decided to transfer back home, and we're glad he's here.
Yeah, yeah. It seems like you hear a lot of coaches like, we might not get him the first time, but we sure as hell going to get him the second time, right?
Or at least we're going to try really hard that second time, or really both times. And now you might try a third time as well.
Isn't it crazy?
It is. But everybody's dealing with the same
Yeah.
issue.
Yeah.
I wish there were a little more definitive rules on some of these things, particularly with the money. But right now, until that's changed, until that's different, we're all
Yeah.
fighting,
The
in the
good
same
fight. Yeah.
waters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you feel it differently on this kind of the Conference USA level than more so maybe like a, obviously a Power Five, but maybe another, strong mid-major conference?
I think we're all aware of the landscape that we're in right
Mhm.
now. I heard, a friend of mine that now coaches at he's an assistant, was one of my former assistants here, said, for him, he said the kind of way we think about it is when the season's over, we just assume we don't have anybody on next year's roster. So we're recruiting the guys that have eligibility back that are on our team. We're recruiting them to come back, and
Yeah.
so you're really, everybody is kind of in that same boat. Is
Yeah.
you want to know who's coming back and who's not, and when you figure out who's not, then what does that mean?
Yeah.
What are the holes? What our team needs when you look at what's the league potentially look like? Who are the better teams in the league this year? How are they built? And can we go really put together a roster that'll give us a chance to win our league? And as we say here sometimes, is like, you got to figure out who do you like and who can you get. And those two things aren't often the same person. There's a lot of people that I'm sure likes Cooper Flagg or, AJ or Darren Peterson or some of the guys that are terrific players this year, but you can't get them. So you got to
Oh,
figure out who do you like,
yeah.
who fits into your program, and who can you go get.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, little did you know that Cooper Flagg had MTSU as one of his top five. You didn't see the edit, did you?
No, I didn't see that. He never let that be known either.
We'll work on that one, okay? Next time I see him, I'll try to work on that. He'll just
That'd
run
be
away from
great.
it. He doesn't know
That'd
me.
be
But
great.
it's funny he's talked about like kind of preseason rankings. It's kind of a crapshoot when you think about it. Like you're just, we used to do all these preview shows. We did a whole bunch. We did them with Coach Mudge and Coach Ballard. So Sam Houston State, Florida,
Yep.
and Florida National. It's like, so what do you think about the conference? No clue.
No clue. And I love that people still do it, coaches still do it, the media still does it. I love that there's talk shows, whether it's on TV, radio, whatever it is, because people are talking about college basketball in the
Yes.
off season. And so to me, that's a great thing. You're building the excitement, and
Yeah.
everybody's looking forward to it. But it's always been a guess. Now more so than ever. I mean, used to, all right, 10 of these players are returning from last year's team, and they've added 3 new players. And so
Mm-hmm.
you could get a pretty good educated guess on what the team is going to look like the following year. Now, when we've got teams in our league, we've have 9 new players. There's others that have 12 or 13 new players on their roster. And so trying to predict order of finish is it's a crapshoot.
Well, it's funny, like your alma mater, Coach Mo, his best player, Topaz Solomon, who came back, he was preseason player of the year because I think he was the only returnee from either the first, second, or third team last year, which is great.
No question. I thought that was one of his best recruiting jobs, is keeping Toyaz to
Yeah,
there on campus.
yeah,
Between he and the Taylor kid, the young man from Charlotte, it's 2 big, long, athletic guys, and hopefully they have a good year over there.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's interesting. So you played at UNC Asheville. You're a Bulldog. You're the assistant there. You're the associate head coach there, and you're the head coach there. How difficult was it to leave there for where you're at now? I mean, you've been at Middle Tennessee State. I believe this is you're going into your 8th year. You obviously like the decision.
Yeah,
I hope.
it was in some ways very difficult, in some ways very easy, and I say that because not only, as you mentioned, did I play and coach at UNC Asheville, but my hometown is 15 minutes away from UNC Asheville's campus. My
Ugh.
dad went to school there. My sister, my younger cousin, who's now on staff at Marquette, he's basically like my younger brother. He was our manager when I was the head coach at Asheville. His dad, my uncle, went to school there, so games were like I saw my college friends, my high school friends, all my family, my mom's side and my dad's side of the family are from 15, 20 minutes away. So personally and family wise, friend wise, um, it was a difficult decision. I mean, you're coaching basketball at your alma mater. But from a professional standpoint, we knew as a family, Lauren and I and our kids, we knew we weren't leaving Asheville just to move. We were very happy. She's from Pinehurst, North Carolina. So
Oh,
we weren't,
love
yeah,
that place.
we
Oh,
weren't just gonna, I'm from Asheville. She's from Pinehurst. We're living in Asheville, North Carolina. We weren't just gonna leave just to take any job to live in any city or any town. But after talking to Chris Massaro, the athletic director here, Dr. McPhee, who's our school president, being on campus, seeing what Murfreesboro has grown into and continues to grow into, the area, the campus, the state, it really became a no brainer.
yeah.
So from that standpoint, easy. But at the same time, when you're moving away from family, friends, everything that made it difficult. Plus, our daughter, Katie, who's now 7, she was born the night before I took the job. We were actually still in the hospital with her the day I got the call from my current
Jeez.
boss that, you need to come over here to Murfreesboro. I said, well, you're gonna have to give me some time. I'm in a hospital room with our newborn. She's about 12 hours old. I'm gonna have to get home and shower up to come see you. But it was a challenging time for sure. But getting back to your original question, that some ways really hard, but in some ways a no brainer.
That would have been even better if it was as your child was being born, because I've been in there 3 times. That would have been great. I wonder how that
It,
conversation would go.
Yeah,
We need
it
a
was pretty
decision right now.
close. Yeah, it was pretty close to that. I mean, well, my phone was ringing. I remember this. I was holding her. My wife was napping. I was holding Katie while my wife was napping a little bit, and the phone starts ringing. I look, and it was Chris Massaro here, and who's the athletic director, and said, This is going to get interesting, I think."
Yeah, honey. Yeah, I forgot to tell you, we're not actually going home with the
That's
child. We're going
exactly
somewhere else.
That's exactly the way it went. As a matter of fact, I called my parents, and who, as I mentioned, just are 15
Yep.
minutes, 20 minutes away from the Asheville airport. I had my parents come to the hospital, so my dad drove me over here to Murfreesboro. I hadn't really had any sleep, and so I told my parents, "You guys need to come to the hospital. Everything's fine with the baby. Lauren's fine." So I had my mother stay with Lauren while my dad and I came over here to Murfreesboro, and I slept in the car just so I could get a little rest before the final interview. Got the job offer, and then as soon as it was over, we went back to the hotel, got some sleep, and we drove back to Asheville the next morning to check my wife and daughter out of the hospital. And so it was a wild 24 hours.
I don't know if I've ever heard a crazier story than that.
It was crazy.
But I mean, 156 episodes in, I mean, we finally heard something like that. But just before we go to the shot clock, one question I want to ask you is, now that you've kind of seen a little bit of the hand of what your opponent's conference foes are showing, what can you say about the conference so far? Has there been any surprises even on your team compared to maybe some others?
Uh, I don't know. I think it's a good question. I think the obvious is I watched Liberty's games against FAU and College of Charleston, and to no surprise, they look like they've been playing together for 3 or 4 years.
Don't you hate
Uh,
Richie McKay? Don't you hate the guy? He's never been on the
Golly,
show.
man,
Like, he just
he,
wins. Like, I'm kind of sick of him.
but he's done that for a long time.
Yeah, but
Uh,
they gotta like excommunicate like Liberty out of Conference USA or something. Get just like he's just guy just wins.
and those three guys, man, watching them, Cleveland, Matheny, Porter,
Cleveland's like Cleveland's like 38, coach. You know that, right?
34, 38 years old. Yes, he's been there forever.
He's so
Uh,
good.
yeah, Matheny shoots it from 34 or 38 feet out. They're just really good. They're well
Yeah.
coached. You could tell they've played a lot of ball together. Somebody said the other day, like, you're playing against a group that's played 120 games together, and your guys have been together for 120 days. And but it shows,
Yeah.
that's the importance of retention in this day and age, and they've done a good job of it. But there's also been some other good wins for our league. New Mexico State had a nice win the other night against
Yep.
New Mexico 2 years in
Yep.
a row. Those guys have been able to upset New Mexico, so
Yep.
that's good. Kennesaw's going to be good. I think we've got a
Yep.
chance to be good.
Yep.
There are a lot of teams that there's not a bottom. There'll be
No.
somebody that finishes
Right.
in 8, 9, 10, 11, 12th place, whatever. But there aren't teams that they're going to finish down there because they're bad. There's some
Yeah.
leagues that I think, if you play this team twice,
Yep.
you've got a pretty good chance to get 2 wins. If you play these 3 teams each twice, you got a pretty good chance to go 6-0, if
Yeah.
not 5-1. There just isn't that in this league. Every night's hard, and
Yeah.
a lot of good coaches, a lot of good players, and this year
Yeah.
won't be any different.
Yeah. We've had Coach Ballard on from FIU, and I remember him. I mean, he had a really good team, but then he struggled with injuries. And,
Yeah.
they're near the bottom that one year, maybe even the bottom, unfortunately. But, it's hard to compete when you don't have your roster all intact. I mean, that's just
It's
college basketball.
we went through that a couple years ago. Our starting point guard goes down in game 2, backup center goes down in like game 7, and you're fighting uphill. I mean, it's hard enough when you're healthy.
Yeah.
When you're not, you're swimming upstream. It happened last year to a couple of teams. Sam Houston, Chris Mudge is a really good coach, really good players, but he had the injury bug down there for a while last year. So did Western Kentucky. And
Yeah.
so it's just a brutal league when you're not at 100%. And, hopefully we can stay healthy this year ourselves.
Yeah. Yeah. So we do talk about going back to Cleveland. I think we're going to start the Full Court Network Evan Eschmeyer Award, and it's for the player that has played the longest and most affected in college. And I think we'll at least have one person from Liberty nominated, if not 2.
I would definitely nominate him.
Yeah. 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 You won't miss him when he leaves. It was kind of like asking, who was it when Yaxel left UAB? I can't remember who it was, but they were very excited when he was transferring to Michigan.
Yeah, we thought we were done playing Yaks, and now we found a way to play them
Yeah.
again.
Yeah. 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 You're a glutton for punishment, coach. All right. So we do a little thing called the shot clock. Sam usually sets up just 6 light, airy questions, real quickly, real easy. If it leads to a story, go for it. Some one-word answers, what have you. Okay. So first one, I'm going to make it really easy. All right. One word to describe Conference USA basketball.
Tough,
Okay.
difficult, brutal, fun. There's about 4.
Yeah, you definitely have an Asheville degree. That's from Coach Mo. Just gonna put that in there. All right, toughest place to play in conference.
Ooh, I'd hope the Murphy Center.
Okay, second then. Second toughest
Yeah,
place.
our games against Western are always, just because of the rivalry. Those
Mhm.
are fun environments. We always
Yeah.
wear, when we play each other. Both teams wear their school colors, so nobody wears white. When we play at Western, we're both in red and blue, and then when they come here, we wear our blues instead of our home whites. So a
Ooh.
fun little tradition that we've got. That some people call it the 100 mile. A lot of people call it the 100 miles of hate. So it's those are fun. We're 100 miles from each other, so
Woo.
it's a fun one.
Yeah, I can't imagine what you think of the red blob as a mascot.
Yeah, you can get Hank on here and ask him what that one is. You
Yeah,
were
we've
asking
had
me earlier about the Blu-ray, or
we,
yeah,
we've had Coach Lutzy about that one. He kind of laughed when he before Hank took over. Okay, so who would you say is the funniest coach in the conference?
the funniest. Oof. Uh, I'm trying to go around the room. Um, I don't know. Probably Joe. Joe Golding says some funny things.
From UTEP, yeah, he's got
From
that old, like
UTEP,
kind of
yeah,
that slow, yeah.
yeah,
I
yeah.
can see that. Okay,
Yeah,
okay, I like that. We've had him on the show from UTEP, absolutely. Well, you're getting rid of him, aren't you?
yeah. They're going to the Mountain West, and
Yeah,
then Talvin and his group at La Tech will be going to the Sun Belt. So our league will definitely look different next year.
yeah,
Now, going back to tough places to play, that one's not easy. Going down to Ruston,
no,
it's not easy to get to, and by the it's just usually 2 flights to get into Monroe or Shreveport, and you're still not there. And then you get over there and they're good. And that was not fun.
So when you heard they're going to the Sun Belt, you're like, bye, Felicia. Tell them, call me. Oh, that's funny. Which current head coach in the Conference USA do you think had the highest GPA in college?
Chris Mudge.
Okay. I don't know for a fact, so that's
I don't either, but he's smart. He's you come across guys that like the real smart guys don't have to tell you they're smart. It's kind of like you hear some people say, I'm a grown man, I'm a grown man, you can't talk to me. Grown men don't have to tell you there's a grown man. The smart guys aren't the guys that have to tell you they're smart. You can tell those guys in a room, and Chris, he's smart.
Yeah. Unless you're in front of your kids to try to prove a point, but 99% of the time you're right on that one, Coach. Toughest coach to scheme against in the conference?
Ooh. It's every night. So there's so many different ways that teams defend in our league that's a hard one, because you go from one way, like you play Liberty and they're pack line, they're making you play over the top. They're smaller in the backcourt, but they chest you up. They don't press. They don't zone. They usually send 1 to the offensive glass and 4 back to half court, so you can't get out and run on them very much. So scoring on them is like pulling teeth. Then you go play FIU in the same road trip, mind you, in the past. And then Jeremy's going to press you, throw traps at you, throw the kitchen sink at you. And then the following week, you're playing UTEP in New Mexico State, and they deny everything, try to blow things up. So your schemes in the league, they change so much from game to game. There's some teams that are going to trap your ball screens. There are others that are in drop coverage. And so I think the totality of it is what is the difficult part of it, because there's so many different things that you're going to see in a very short amount of time.
Yeah. Safe answer, which is true though. I mean, everybody's different, right? No one's the same. It's
correct. And you face 2 very different styles. And because we're most of the time on a Thursday, Saturday schedule, it really depends on, are you getting who on a Thursday? Because all of a sudden, if you get the one that's the most difficult on the Saturday, you've got a 1-day prep to scheme, as you called it. You've got 1 day to scheme on how are we going to score enough to beat this team. And we've got 1 practice, and it's in between Thursday and Saturday's game to get it right.
Yep. Absolutely. Which team would you say, has been called for the most personal fouls so far this season in conference? Which conference team is number 1? I would usually say if it was during conference.
I would guess New Mexico State.
Wrong.
UTEP.
Nope. 23.3 personal fouls called so far per game for Sam Houston State.
That would have been up there as well. They're aggressive defensively. And they're not going to play on their heels. They're not going to be reactionary. They're going to try to dictate the action on that end of the floor. So, those don't surprise me. Who's
Coach. Coach. What's that? I'll tell you. 4th is
who? Us.
Middle Tennessee State.
Who's 2nd and 3rd?
I didn't look that up, but you want to know who's last? I was going to say I usually put it like this, but I can't. Which conference officials like that coach the best? But I guess these officials like this coach the best. Who's number 12?
Liberty.
Every year. They're like 14 and below, 14.7. They're like 15 and below.
That surprises me 0.
Shocker, as they say. All right, last question. All right, give me your funniest recruiting story. Obviously, it could be more than 1 word, since you used 5 on 1 word to describe CUSA basketball.
You said 1 word to describe?
No, not 1 word. Not 1 word.
Got it. I don't know. That's a tough one. I might have to phone a friend on that one. Um, Funniest recruiting story.
We've had bad chili. We've had wrong airport, shit, wrong city, wrong town. We've had
uh,
food
I will say
poisoning.
this. Now, uh, I was an assistant for Coach Biedenbach at Asheville, and we were scheduled to do an in-home visit. And we had been in the car for several hours on the way to the young man's home, and we were 15 minutes away, and got a call from the kid's mom that something else popped up, that they were going to need to push it to another day. And it wasn't funny, but it was sure interesting as a young assistant having to tell my boss and my former coach we need to turn the car around, and we're going to drive 4 hours today, 2 hours in each direction, to not have an in-home visit. Those aren't fun.
Yeah. But more importantly, did you get the kid?
No, we didn't. No, we didn't. Usually, when there's something more than something came up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Somebody else came up,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Or you mean
those were
someone was at their house before you got there?
could have been that too.
Yeah.
Could have been
Yeah.
that too.
Yeah. 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 Did you ever find out where the kid went?
I did.
I don't want to know, but okay.
No.
That's all we need to know. That's fine.
Yeah.
Fun. That's fun. That's fun. All right. Last question I got for you. Sam always ends this. How excited should the Blue Raider Middle Tennessee faithful be, fans, alumni this year for, you're off to 3-0, got a really tough schedule. How excited should they be for this year's college basketball season?
I think we've got a fun group to watch play, and it's because they play the right way. They're good guys. I think we play an exciting style,
Mhm.
but they really share it. We shoot it. The tempo is there. Our record may not reflect us being really, really good when we get to league play.
Mhm.
We've got 11 non-conference games, and we've got a couple behind us and a couple non-ones, but we're getting ready to go through a gauntlet here of a stretch that,
Yeah.
I think that'll be one of the things that will be important for this group, is that they're mentally tough. We'll need to be physically tough just based on who we're playing. But there's going to be some nights that you play really well, but so does the other team. And they're also really talented too. And
Yeah.
somebody can play really good and have a tough loss. You can play really good against teams like Michigan and Houston and UAB and, Murray State, George Washington, and you don't come out on the right end of it. Obviously, that's not our goal. But at the same time, we're going to test our team in a lot of ways over the next 6 weeks, and we got to come out of it on the other side ready for league play, because
Yeah.
it's a hard league,
Yeah.
and hopefully those back to backs against really good team get us in the kind of mental and physical shape for the tough back to backs that we're going to have in league play. We're going to play Liberty on a Thursday and Western Kentucky on a Saturday. New Mexico State on a Thursday and UTEP on a Saturday. Those aren't easy.
Yeah.
The league, the way the league schedule came out, it didn't do us any favors either. We have multiple stretches. We have four consecutive road games in 11 days, uh, and it's bookended by one in Delaware and the other is Sam Houston. So it didn't do us any favors. A completely different stretch where we have 4 of 5 on the road, and
Jesus Christ.
so to withstand not just the travel but also who you're playing and where you're playing will be tough. And so our guys got to be up for
Coach, if you win conference, you should get the national championship.
it. Keep singing it.
Yeah. That. Yeah.
It really will. It'll be hard. I mean, because there are other teams like Liberty, for instance. You brought them up a second ago.
Yeah.
They never play 3 in a row on the road.
People like
Two.
People like Coach McKay, man, in the league
I'm one
office.
of
Let's
them.
be honest.
I'm one of them. But there are other teams that
Yeah.
they don't have those stretches like that. Now the flip is, well, if they're always 2 at home, 2 away, 2 at home, 2 away, they don't have long stretches at home either.
Yeah.
And there are a couple of times where we play 3 in a row at home. But surviving those those stretches will
Yep.
be a challenge, and
Yep.
we've got to be up for it.
Yep. Well, Coach, I feel like you're going to stick on one more second while we upload, but I think you guys are up for it. I think you guys are up for it this year. I'm really excited to see you guys compete, especially in your tough gauntlet of November and December. Jesus.
Yeah, I think if you've got a splintered group, those rough times can really fracture
Yep.
you.
Yep.
And fortunately, right now, you just watch the way our guys are around each other, the way they play, the way they practice. I think we
Yep.
got a together group, a tough group, and that will be challenged though
Yep.
over the coming months. That's why we do
Yep.
what we do, and we'll see if we're right.
Yep. Well, Coach, really appreciate you going to stick on one more second. Like I was saying, hey, check out MTSU, the Blue Raiders. Coach McDevitt, we really appreciate it. Really fun times as always. And thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. We'll be back next week on a Full Court Press, a college basketball coaches show powered by the Full Court Network.